What up, what up, what up? We back. All right, so today I'm gonna teach y'all about how to hide debt on your credit, right? Bring your utilization down. And I did get somebody reached out to me about utilization, so I'm gonna put all of it in this one video. All right, so sit back, take your notes, and I hope this helps you out. All right, so utilization. Credit bureaus say we're supposed to keep it under 30%. All right. So say for instance, we got 5 credit cards, right? And each credit card has $1,000 limit. If we're using a total of $1,500, then we're 30% above that 30%. All right, so if you got 5 credit cards, all of them got $1,000 balance, limit, and you using more than $1,500 combined out of that $5,000, you're over 30%, right? So we got no math here, people. All right, 10% of 5,000 is 500. That's how we get to 1,500, right? So a lot of people call me and be like, well, I got all this credit card debt. I can't hide it. How can I get rid of it? This, and this. So say for instance, you had 5 cards and all of them were $1,000. So you had $5,000 worth of utilization and you used all of it. You had 100%. What could you do to get it back under the 30%? Trade line. Right, I knew y'all already knew that. Y'all been watching the videos, y'all already knew trade line. All right, so check this out. Let me tell you how you can implement a trade line in there and get it under that 30%, right? So we using $5,000. We got 5 cards. Our total is $5,000. We done burnt it up. We at the max, right? So now we like, man, I don't got $3,500 to pay it down. You know what I'm saying? To get back under the 30 so my credit will be okay. What can I do to do it? Trade line. All right, so what kind of trade line do we need? Or, well, I won't say what kind do we need. I'll probably say what amount. So if you want to get that balance, your utilization back under that 30%, I would suggest no lower than $125,000 trade line. Why? Because let's do the math on it. So if we add $25,000 more to that $5,000, now we at $30,000 overall, right? So let's do the math on $30,000. You could be using up to $9,000. So guess what? That $5,000 you was just using is gone. Now, whoever you getting a trade line from, even though they got a $25,000 limit, they need to be under $3,000. And that's kind of pushing it because that'll put you at about an $8,000 range. You only got $9,000. And it will get your utilization to about 28%, right? So that's still good. You under that 30% threshold. But again, I always tell people, call somebody like me, call a pro. Don't try it yourself because guess what? You need to verify that that trade line is where it needs to be. That person could go shopping, spend $4,000-$5,000 shopping. Now it kills your utilization again. So usually I tell people go to somebody that sells actual trade lines for a living, and because the reason why I say that is because people like me that have those high limit trade lines, we don't really use those cards for major purchases because we sell those lines. Meaning, I got cards that have $50,000 on it, and the most I ever put on it is $1,000. Why? Because my utilization is really low. When I sell it to somebody to put on their credit is gonna go through the roof because their utilization is gonna go way low. I'm talking maybe under 10%. And to me, under 10% is really where you wanna be. Again, the bureaus tell us 30% is good. I feel like between 2 and 9% is the best. You get the maximum amount of points. All right, so when hiding debt, you need to be able to know these numbers, be able to figure this stuff out because some of you may have way more than $5,000. So say for instance, you got $20,000 worth of debt, how many trade lines do you need, right, to get out of that to cover up $20,000 worth of debt? I would say at least two $50,000 trade lines. Why would I say that? Because if you got $100,000 of free money, what's 10% of? I mean, what's 30% of $100,000? You talking about 30 grand. So it'll have that whole $20,000 that you're missing. But check this out, and this one right here is probably gonna confuse some of y'all. If it does, let me know. I would suggest just rewinding the video so you can understand what I'm about to tell you. What we do need to remember is that although we got 5 credit cards, they could all be reporting to a different bureau. 2 could be on TransUnion, 2 could be on Equifax, and 1 could be on Experian. So now you playing another game, right? So let's break that down real quick. Say 2 of your cards is on TransUnion and you're using $2,000. Guess what? You're gonna need to get a trade line for somebody that actually reports to TransUnion. Vice versa. Say the other 2 is on Experian that's holding $2,000. You're gonna need somebody to put a trade line on that bureau that can cover that debt up as well. So just because you got 5 cars and it's $5,000 overall, don't mean that all the cars reporting to the same. So TransUnion gonna have you at a high balance, Experian gonna have you at a high balance, and Equifax. So to balance it out, you're gonna need to put a trade line on each one of those bureaus. So you may go from just finding one $25,000 car to finding 2 cars with $10,000 and 1 car with $5,000. Of course, you would put the $10,000 on the 2 bureaus that got the 2 cars, and the $5,000 on the one bureau that got the 1 car. But again, that's why it's important to know how your cars report, who they report to, the statement dates, and all that other good stuff. And the other thing I wanted to speak on was a lot of people hit me up about what the utilization is that, well, if it's 2 dates, when should I really pay the bill? You pay the bill on the due date, all right? And what they were asking was because I told them that you have a statement date and you have a reporting date, right? So guess what? The statement date is the day your bill is due. You don't want to miss that because you don't want no late payments. The day that it reports is the day that it hits your credit. They hear people all over Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be, telling them all these different ways, pay it twice a month. You can do a 2 times a month thing. It don't really boost your credit too much more. What it does is it just breaks down the payments to make it look like you're making more payments than you really are because you're splitting it up, right? So how that really works is and we're gonna use Discover for an example. All right, so if my Discover credit card is due on the 1st of the month, I pay my bill. It doesn't report to the 8th of the month. Now, every card reports different. It's typically between 7 to 10 days after the bill date. Call your credit card company, find out. I don't know each credit card and the dates they report and all that. It's typically 10 to 7 days, right? So if I pay my bill off on the 1st, I cannot use that card to the 9th because it reports on the 8th. So any kind of transactions up until that 8th is gonna show. So what I tell people is hey, with that split payment, you could pay it maybe a week before it's due and a week after it's due. That's how you get your 2 payments in. So if it's due on the 1st and I pay it on the 23rd, I pay half to pay that balance off. And then on the 5th, I pay the other half. When the bureaus reach out to Discover on the 8th, they're gonna tell them that it's a 0 balance. And then you can get back to doing what you're doing. But if you use that card in between that 7 to 10 day grace period, whatever is used is going to report. All right. So I know a lot of this is kind of confusing, but that's why I always tell people Do some research. If you can't figure it out, call somebody that does this for a living, right? Because I know how to change oil in a car, but guess what? I still take it to the 10-minute oil change place to do my oil because they're the pros. So although we get a lot of good information on YouTube, a lot of the time you don't get all of the information. So if this has been helpful, drop a comment in the below. Subscribe, share, let friends know about it. If it's a topic that you want me to speak on, just put it in the comments and I'll try to get a video out as soon as possible on that subject.